Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There is the old adage that justice must not just be done, but it must be seen to be done. And when you have secret policemen and secret justice, justice is sometimes not only not seen to be done, but not actually done. When you have the case of a woman being punched in the face by a man in front of a policeman, and the policeman does nothing except go, "Oh well, slap wrist, walk away," you know that there is an agenda, especially when the man who punches the woman is wearing a dress. The police don't want to get involved in that. So why are they being so shady? Why is it that when you ask them what's going on and what the rules are, they're evasive, they're shady, they're snide, or they outright lie? We'll take a look at this to see why the Gestapo are strong in SNP-run Scotland. Here goes. So the SNP's Secret Scotland. Police Scotland refused to publish the guidance behind recorded police warnings used in some sex crimes, and in worse than that. This recorded police warning was meant to be for something minor crime, very minor stuff, just to stop sort of fouling up all the criminal prosecution system. It wasn't meant to be a get out of jail free for people doing serious crimes, and yet that's what it's becoming. So the secretive Scottish Government were urged to change the rules surrounding recorded police warnings after most of the guidance surrounding them were redacted. Yeah, there was a freedom of information. Please show us your rules on all these. And it came out, and it was pages and pages and pages. It was all blanked out, because they don't want you to know. Why are they being so secretive? Is it because it's so embarrassing for them? Yes, obviously, yes. Police Scotland have once again refused to publish secret guidance which is used to decide whether an alleged criminal will face charges or just be given a recorded police warning. This was cited as the reason why a man did not face further action after punching a woman at a protest in Aberdeen. Now, he didn't just punch her, he drew blood. It's actual bodily harm, and he did it in the presence and in front of a policeman. But because the man who was punching the woman was wearing a dress, the policeman thought, "Oh God, I'll be a phobe if I arrest him," and so didn't, and just go, "I'll have a warning, then I'll walk away." Where do people... What? How can I put this? The respect for policemen is already low. Seeing that is not going to improve matters, is it? And when you've got no justice, even from the justice system, even when a crime is committed in front of a policeman and he does nothing, then there is no law and order. There is no respect for law. And the upshot of this will be vigilantism. There will be absolute chaos, and it'll be a wild west because the police are too afraid to do their job. Officers covering the crime claimed that their action was in line with the Lord Advocate's guidelines. Oh, the Lord Advocate has said specifically a man can punch a woman so hard he can draw blood, and that's acceptable in the eyes of the law. That's fine. Every wife beater out there now has free reign to do what he likes to his wife, and the law isn't going to do anything about it. Well done. You've just created a world where wife beaters are absolutely free to do what they like. What a wonderful country to live in. Since 2016, recorded police warnings have been utilised by the force to deal with low-level crimes. That's the theory. Low-level crimes. Breach of the peace and urinating in public. That kind of thing. But they've been also used for other sexual crimes, according to research by the policy group Murray Blackman Mackenzie. Fears have been raised they could be getting even further use in the future due to a lack of cops being on the beat and the massive court backlogs. It allows officers not to bother the Crown Office with minor crimes, or as we like to call them now, major crimes. The scheme has been widened to include possession of Class A drugs, with accepting a recorded police warning not being an admission of guilt and not recorded as a conviction, although the details are held on record for 2 years and can be used in the future. Oh well, that'll stop them then, won't it? The Scottish Daily Express attempted to find out the hidden guidance for why they are handed out in some situations, but were told that if it was disclosed, it would be likely to prejudice substantially the prevention or detection of crime and the apprehension or prosecution of offenders. No, if you have any secrets in a justice system, you do not have a justice system. You have trial by officers. There is no openness, there's no frankness, there's no understanding of what the laws are, of what the limits are. That's not justice. That is a dictatorship. If you cannot open it and say clearly what the laws are, how do people know what laws they're breaking and what the penalties are? Every crime must be on the book, and every crime must have its punishment laid out. And you can't have, well, if you do it here, you will get prosecuted, and if you do it here, you won't get prosecuted. That's not justice, is it? That's, the policeman deciding. And it shouldn't be the police that decide. It should be the courts that decide. Officials added, disclosure of the requested information would impact on the ability of the police to prevent and detect crime. No, it wouldn't. How would that possibly be that? It's a lie. Again, a lie. How would it prevent crime? If they're giving them the slap on the wrist, the crime has already occurred. It's not a prevention. And as for the detection of crime, well, how would they know otherwise? If they hadn't detected the crime, they couldn't give this little minor punishment. Again, it's bullshit and bollocks from the SNP. Absolute crap. They think that we are fools by telling us things like this. But we're not fools because it's obvious. They daren't tell you what the rules are because they know there'd be a bloody riot. The disclosure of information requested may have the potential to increase the risk to the personal safety of individuals, they say, and also the safety of the police officers responding to incidents. Please explain how that's possible at all. If a policeman's responding, it doesn't matter what he's responding to, the risk is the same, isn't it? The Scottish Tories demanded that this culture of secrecy come to an end. Scottish Conservative Shadow Justice Secretary Russell Findlay, MSP, told the Scottish Daily Express, the SNP government told us that recorded police warnings would be issued for very minor offences. Clearly a lie. And clearly they're aiming at going, we're going to have certain groups will be protected and other groups won't. That's a fact. We've seen that. But they're now being used for serious offences, including sex crimes and assault, as mentioned. Victims and the wider public have a right to know what's going on in our justice system. And it's wrong to withhold these guidelines. If you're withholding the guidelines, you're ashamed of them. There's no two ways about it. Why are you so shady? What have you got to hide all the time? All the time. The SNP cannot ever be open and honest. They daren't. Because if these guidelines were released, you would quite clearly see the agenda, which is pushing certain ways and not other ways. They want to change things, and they've got to do it under the counter, hidden, cryptic, because they cannot be open with the people. They daren't. They're cowardly. Police Scotland's use of warnings was scrutinised after a woman was assaulted during a Women Won't Wish rally in Aberdeen's Duthie Park in July. Been punched in the arm and head, and with the suspect receiving a warning, and she had blood trickling down her face. So, that's how serious it was. Chief Superintendent Gordon McCready of the Criminal Justice Services Division said recorded police warnings are a tool to officers to deal with a wide range of offences. Here's a simple thing, get rid of them. If you see a crime, arrest. Simple, arrest. And then you take them to the police station. And at the police station you can say either, okay, we'll take you to court, you can do that, or you can pay and then you have a series of fines. And that's it. And if you say a series of fines and 70, where it's an offence against the person, 75% of that fine goes to the person who was offended. How's that? Anyway, the criteria is issued by the Lord Advocate, and the scheme allows officers in appropriate circumstances and on a case-by-case basis to use their discretion to deal with the offences on the spot. Okay, but what are the appropriate circumstances? What is the basis that you decide on a case-by-case basis? And what is the level of your discretion? That has to be explained. That has to be out there. Otherwise, how do we know we're not being targeted unfairly due to age, race, colour, sex, religion? How do we know? How do we know? We're at the whims of an officer who may be bigoted. No one's coming into that. No one's answering that problem, are they? He said RPW significantly shortened the length of time it can take for the same disposal to be achieved, reduce the volume of formal reports in the criminal justice system, and give officers the ability to exercise their professional discretion. But we know how bad the police are getting, and do we really seriously think that we trust their, quote, professional discretion? We know the police are often biased. In fact, didn't the new incoming Chief Constable just say that the police force in Scotland is institutionally racist? Well, if that's the case, why on earth, if that is the case, are you allowing them to use their own sort of decision-making process, their own discretion, where they may treat one person different from another because of the bias that they have? You can't have it both ways. It's a load of crap, isn't it? And then, of course, they're hiding the rules. They're hiding all this because they're absolutely rat-arsed ashamed of it. Anyway, I'm coming up. This is just another example of the secrecy, the hidden nature, the cryptic nature of the SNP. They can never, ever be honest. And now they're not even being honest about the justice system, the system that they say that we should all live our life by. We'd all live within the law. They can't even tell you what the law is. And they're changing it on a day-by-day basis based purely on what a cop may feel on a single day. He might have had a bit last night and you get away with it. Or he might have a bad back or a toothache and you're banged up. That can't be right. You can't have two different outcomes from the same crime just because one officer doesn't like the look of your face and the other one has had a good shag the night before. That's what it's down to when they say using their discretion. Let's get rid of discretion. Let's just have a single thing. You commit a crime, you get arrested, you go down, and let the bloody courts decide. And if you've got a backlog in courts, simple. Let's have more courts. Let's open a few more courts up. It isn't hard. Heavens to God, you cannot have justice by rote. You cannot have justice decided on the whims of an individual. Justice must be a system, not what one guy thinks of you. He might just don't like the look of his face. Let's nag him. Or, oh, well, he looks a respectable sort. Look, sir, don't do that again. Slap wrist. That's not how justice should work. Thank you very much for watching. It's a shame we live in such a terrible world, isn't it? But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope that's enlightened you. And I hope you look at the police in a slightly different light now because they're not prepared to do the job they want. They're just lazy. They're getting lazy. Sex offences? Phew. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well, and don't break the law. Bye.